Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. As always, I have a great show for you. We have so many hot, juicy topics to get into, lots of updates, even a couple crimes. And then I have a great interview with another star from Members Only Palm Beach, which everyone's talking about. And she answers a lot of questions about my previous guest, Hillary. So stay tuned for that. That'll be great. It's Ro-Mina. So let's get into first everything I have to tell you before we get to that juicy interview. The toxic mom story that we've been talking about. Well, hopefully Ashley Tisdale is making lemonade out of lemons, because the talk of the town is that several companies are looking to make a movie or a limited series out of the article that she wrote. This is what's really important when you have a great idea, whether you're famous or not, that you have some type of intellectual property to sell, like a piece of real estate. That's a book. That's the podcast series like Risa Tisa that told her whole horrible story about her former husband. And now she's got a series that's being made and she's got other things happening. This article that was written, I think it was for The Cut, that's something that someone could make something of. The movie Mean Girls that Tina Fey wrote, she woke up one day and read an article about queen bees in one of these magazines, a long form article, and sought out to get that intellectual property to make a movie about it, because she read it, she saw how this could be perceived as a movie. So if this becomes a movie or a TV show, it might not have stars. It might just be rich women. It might be something that someone is working on right now that they don't have to give Ashley Tisdale credit for because it's so relatable. I mean, essentially, Real Housewives, the whole franchise is basically about toxic moms. It's about women becoming friends because they have something in common. Originally, it was that they all lived in Coda de Cause and OC. And then, one gets ousted. And what's the reason? Of course, with this, it involves small children, their friendships, who's doing what. Are you cool enough? Or do you kind of bug? And we want you not to go to the experience. And then add that other layer of social media of high profile women where you open up your phone, you think you're like, oh, I'm so glad I stayed in tonight on a Saturday night. I'm feeling great. Had a lovely dinner with my family and I didn't drink, and isn't that nice? And you roll into bed and you open your phone and you see all of your supposed best friends doing one of those toasting, what do you call those things where it's like the bongo, like when like the drinks crash into each other, it's like a certain kind of whatever. And they're at a restaurant that's down the street from you and you easily could have attended had you been invited. And then you're like, wow, those are some toxic bitches that didn't invite me. I think I'll write an article about it. Who knows? But that is juicy. Hopefully, if something comes of it, I really hope that she gets some executive producer or that she's the one that's already shopping it, that she and her team had the wherewithal to go, whoa, 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 before anyone grabs this, you need to be the one that, executes this. So let's hope that for her. As we know, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, their divorce is final. Very quick. From the moment they announced it to it becoming final, I don't know if they had the greatest prenup, the greatest postnup, or they just hate each other enough and they're rich enough to go, let's wrap this up real quick. We're both on the same page of wanting this to end. Because like I always say, rarely are you on the same page and one person usually drags their feet and gets joy out of making it difficult for the other. Well, there was always rumors that part of the reason that they broke up is that he was having a romantic relationship with a young woman in his band. So Page Six reported that Keith Urban moves in with new girlfriend after Nicole Kidman divorce report. Now, this was just a couple days ago. Well, now that girl, her name's Carly Scott Collins, she has said, no, I'm not romantic with Keith Urban. This is not true. And no, we've not moved in together. So maybe that is true. Maybe she feels like she doesn't want that like home wrecker thing. And she's like, let's wait 6 months to a year and see where this still goes, if in fact they are romantic. But she has stated we are not romantic. This is an untrue article. Okay, now let me tell you about the very disturbing story that we've talked a little bit about, especially on my new show, Juicy Crimes, which, by the way, a new episode drops tomorrow, Wednesday, with my fabulous sister and a criminal defense attorney, Shannon McDonald-Goldstein. And we cover several crimes, and it's a really great one. So I hope you guys subscribe and listen to that, leave a review, and do all the things. It's free on all platforms as well as YouTube. You can watch our two cute faces together. Okay, so Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie, also former SAG-AFTRA president. That's the president of the Actors Guild. She has been married to Timothy Busfield, who has been a writer, director, producer, all of that for many years. He's 68 years old. He was accused and arrested for child essaying of twin boys who played the role of one boy on the show, The Cleaning Lady, in which he was the director. So they went to their parents. The parents went to authorities, doctors or psychiatrists, or we don't know all the facts, interviewed them, took it to the Albuquerque police. I guess that's where this movie was filmed or where he was living. I'm not exactly sure. And sought to get him arrested for this. He is trying to get out on bail. He has claimed this is not true, that the parents of the twins, have several shady things in their past. Which, if you look it up, yes, there's lawsuits. They're professional people, both of the parents. They're professional people, but they've had lawsuits. They've had accused of things. They've been, convicted of things. I don't want to get into all the details, but they've had some white collar type of situations happen with the parents, but they were also stage parents to these twins. Now, as someone who grew up in LA, we had an agent when we were little. Her name was Iris Burton. She was very New Yorky, and she would say, I need a good set of twins. A set of twins can work double the time. That's what I need. Identical twins. Identical twins are extremely valuable on a show because you need that way. If the child is little, they can work twice as long. You switch one out for the other. Hence the Olsen's twins. That's what they did. They were both playing the one little girl. So in this, also, it also really helps for child actors if they look a lot younger than they are, because they have the brain and the vocabulary of a 7 and 8-year-old, but they're the size of a 5-year-old. So in this show, The Cleaning Lady, I didn't know what it was about, so I looked it up. And there is a character of a little boy, the lead's son, who is very sick. And she's doing all this stuff, cleaning up for the mob, I don't even know, to get money to help her kid. The twins were playing that role for a couple years. That is where they claim that they were groomed, and the people have said it must be grooming, but that's where inappropriate stuff was happening. There was touching, and these are the accounts, these felony accounts that he's been accused of. Okay, so after the second season, they were not asked to come back. In fact, it looks like they replaced that child's role with just one child. And he feels that is why they have made up these lies about him. And this is the retaliation, that the twins are no longer playing this role. Well, that makes sense. Maybe now they look like they're 10 and the kid has to only be 7 now. Maybe because there aren't that many scenes with this kid, they could just hire one child and not the twins. It's Hollywood. It's show business. It sucks. And yes, even little kids are too old to work sometimes, just like women. So that's what he's claiming. They, of course, are saying not. What's bad is in his past, there was a case where he settled for $150,000 with someone who brought complaints about him groping them. There's another girl back from when he had his theater group, children's theater in Sacramento, that she and her dad have come forward that something traumatic happened to her when she was auditioning with him when she was just 16. That would definitely be under the jurisdiction of absolute essaying, assault of a child, all of that. But the wife, Melissa Gilbert, is sticking by him. She wants him out on bail. In doing that, he had to explain what his sexual life was. He said, I have a very healthy sexual life with my wife, Melissa Gilbert, though since we're older, it's more cuddling than sex. I like to masturbate in the shower because it's quick and easy. And neither of us like porn, and we never have. And everyone's just like, oh my God, do we all have to know this? Yeah, we have to know it because he's a public figure and this is all over the news. So that's what he's saying about the accusers. That's what the accusers are saying about him, that they're traumatized. The young boys are traumatized. They have PTSD. They're telling the truth. Has nothing to do with them not being asked to be in the third season. So we don't know yet if he's going to get out early or wait till trial. This episode of Juicy Scoop is sponsored by Dose. Okay, we're all talking about trying to get healthier, drinking more water, getting the steps in, taking our vitamins. But here's what most people miss: your liver health. Yeah, it affects literally everything. Your energy, digestion, how your skin looks, even your metabolism, which I know we care the most about, right? It's time we show it some love. So let's talk about Dose. Dose for your liver is clinically backed liver health supplement. So it's just not another capsule or powder. Dose is a liquid supplement. It's taken in a daily 2-ounce shot, and it tastes like fresh squeezed orange juice, which I absolutely love. And it's really your body's filter. So your liver is your body's filter. So it processes everything you consume and performs 500 plus daily functions. So we want to make sure that there's energy production happening, digestion, fat metabolism, vitamin storage. And this is why you can trust Dose, because it got real results with 2 double-blind placebo-controlled studies showing its positive impact on liver enzyme levels. Ready to give your liver the support it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/juicyscoop or enter Juicy Scoop to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/juicyscoop for 35% off your first month subscription. O Positive is a women's health company. They offer a range of symptom-targeting supplements that support women at every stage of life, from their first period to well beyond their last. And they are so proud to having the best-selling women's health products at Target and on Amazon. URO Vaginal Probiotics is one of the top 5 supplements on Amazon. And they have the multiple #1 products in Target for intimate care, PMS, and menopause categories. This is why it's so important, because things do change with time, and why not make it the best it can be? URO is a probiotic blend specifically formulated to support vaginal health. So it balances a healthy vaginal pH, support healthy vaginal smell, and maintain healthy vaginal flora. I have a friend who is new to the dating world, after 20 years. I told her about it, and it just gave her that confidence, and she is getting great feedback from the guy that she's currently dating. It really does everything that it says it does, and it's something that we need to never feel embarrassed about, and only knowing that it's our greatest asset. So take proactive care of your health and head to opositive.com/juicyscoop or enter Juicy Scoop at checkout for 25% off your first purchase. That's opositiv.com/juicyscoop for 25% off. I know many of us want to get that wardrobe refresh. We want to clean out that closet and be like, what is 2026 me going to be about when it comes to fashion? For me, it's classier, more luxurious, finer quality clothes that last. And that's why I love Quince. Their Italian wool coats are real standouts. I was wearing one the other day and I got so many compliments because they're beautifully tailored. They're soft to the touch. They're built to carry you throughout the years of wear. And where we live in California, the nights do really get cool. And to have a beautiful coat like that just says, where are you going, hot stuff? Like, you look like a classy bitch. So I absolutely love it. And I also got a leather jacket from there that is just buttery soft, so cute. And it's like a third of the price of what I paid for my previous leather jacket at a high department store. So that is why I'm so excited to always tell you guys about Quince. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/juicy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/juicy to get free shipping and 365-day returns all year long. Quince.com/juicy. Everyone is loving Traitors. We've covered Traitors a lot in the show, but let's just get to the juiciest part. So Michael Rappaport is an actor who jumped on my jock and got into talking about Real Housewives. I had him on years ago, and I did enjoy his take on Real Housewives. I thought he was hilarious. So he covers a lot of Real Housewives stuff, but he's like that New Yorkie, like, I don't give a fuck, and it's like, get your fucking ass out of here. And he'll just like scream at the camera, and it's like just very jarring after a while. So anyway, he's perfect for the Traitors, right? So he's on, and the whole point of the Traitors, whether you watch it or not, is that you have to convince everybody that you're not a traitor, that you're faithful. And if you are a traitor, you have to lie the whole way. And if anyone thinks that you might be a traitor, they want to kick you out. And of course, you want to stay till the end. So that's how you make your $250. And so then you have to be like, what? I'm not a traitor. You know who's good at lying is this guy over here. Like, think about it. He lied about this at breakfast. He said he liked milk, and then we found out he was lactose intolerant. Like, that's a liar. Like, whatever you're going to try to do, right? So Colton Underwood is a very cute guy. He was on The Bachelor. He was The Bachelor. He fell in love with a girl named Cassie. A couple years later, she broke up with him, and it all came out that he was a freaking nightmare, that he was stalking her. She had to get a restraining order. He put a tracker on her car. She was getting all these horrible messages from strangers, so she thought, and then so was he. It turned out they were all from him. Like, he was doing like that catfish thing that mom did, where he was acting like a victim too. The story is very convoluted. It's based on my memory as a comedic commentator, so don't hold me to everything I'm saying. But it was a lot. And thank God Cassie got away. She's like married. Her sister's doing well. They're all fine, but she's not really in the limelight anymore. Then after all that happened, everyone was like, what a freak is Colton? Then Colton was like, well, I need to tell you something. I'm gay. And then everybody said, oh, well, that's why you were such an awful person, because you weren't living your truth. Oh, God, Cassie should forgive you for that. She should get over that. You were just a frustrated, cute guy that couldn't be himself all those years. You had to act like you liked women and wanted to go to the prom so far that you went and dated 25 women and said, I want to marry all of you. And this whole time you had this secret. That is awful that you had to live that secret. So then they're like, let's film this secret. So they give Colton, Coming Out Colton or whatever. He has a series, and it's all about him going around and telling his friends he's gay. And everybody being like, we love you. And the macho dad being like, of course I love you. And, whatever. As they should. Then he meets this other guy. They get married. I believe they have a child. He's gotten another show where he was hosting Virgins on an Island with Caitlin Bristow. And then, of course, he gets on Traitors. And he's still very cute and likable. So Michael Rappaport is everyone wants to get rid of Michael Rappaport because he's screaming in their ear with his New York accent like every fucking day. And they're just like, oh my God. And so he's like, don't get rid of a faith. If you get rid of a faithful, then an extra traitor is staying. The whole goal is to get rid of the traitors. And they get knighted in the very beginning. So they you figure out who it is. So he's like, I'm not a traitor, and everything. And who you should look at is this guy, Colton. I mean, talk about keeping a lie. He knows how to keep a lie, something to that effect. Well, everyone was like, oh, are you being homophobic? Are you? And then Colton's like, oh, so you're saying because I kept my sexuality secret for 29 years. Okay. All right. And now the world is debating. Was Michael Rappaport just trying to get the heat off of him and just pointing to anything, and that didn't even occur to him, or he didn't even remember that story? Because quite honestly, I forgot the story of Colton until this cute girl, Demi Burnett, reminded us all on her Instagram, and it went viral. I believe that she might have been a contestant on The Bachelor, and she was reminding us of the hell that he put Cassie through. Now, I believe people can be forgiven. I believe he's probably a delight. He's probably a lot of fun to be in Scotland with, and they probably enjoy his company at breakfast way more than screaming Michael Rappaport. But that's what's going on at Traitors, so there you go. Well, I got this sent to me. Like I said, there's a lot of things you don't know that are totally true that are like on these news articles, but someone said, Heather, this is what you and Chris were talking about. I want to say it was really Chris who said it. I like to give credit's due. On my show we've talked about, where he said there should be a show called Cancel House, where everybody that was canceled, from politicians to reality stars to whomever, all come together and talk about being canceled and see if they're still worthy of being canceled. Well, according to the Ankler, Scoop, that's how they started. I'm like, could you be copying me more? Just kidding. Scoop, my old television station, along with Chris Frangella, supposedly is developing a new show to bring back canceled stars. So just to remind you, it was Chris Frangella, and I piggybacked on the idea. And you're welcome. So we'll see if that happens. Also, a former Bachelor, Clayton, who had a very juicy story after he was off The Bachelor, which I've covered, where this crazy girl that he showed a house to, that he allowed to give him a BJ, tried to say that she was pregnant with his child. And then he found out that she'd done it to like 4 other guys. And she was trotting around Scottsdale and Phoenix with fake sonograms, torturing people and making them think that they were going to be dads when she was never pregnant at all. And it was a very juicy story, and nobody wanted to touch it because no one wants to say a woman is a crazy liar, but she was. Anyway, good for him. In the process of defending himself, saying there's no way I could have impregnated this girl, I just wanted to sell her a house. Again, realtors, it's so sad. The amount of grifters and liars that go to realtors and try to get their hopes up that you're going to make, $50,000 on a commission. Oh my God, you got to check out these people, please. And if you're a woman, don't put any of them in your car. Meet them at the house with somebody after you've run a credit report, okay? Anyway, he likes to pickleball. And according to this, pickleball is going to have its first reality TV series, and Clayton is going to be the host. So good for him. As someone who's entered the world of pickleball life, I don't know that there's enough in it to I think more has to happen. I think pickleball could be the backdrop. But there's definitely a prototype of a type of woman that when you meet her, she seems real fun to play with. And then when you start to get better and beat her, like I have, they don't like you as much. And then they start to say, oh, I had too many cups of coffee. Oh my God, the sun is in my eyes. We need to switch sides. And I'm like, but I just was on your side and I beat you, and then we switched sides. No, we need to switch sides. Once we get to at least 7, we'll switch. Okay, but we all have sunglasses and hats on, but all right, let's do it, Oh, the wind is at my back. I know. I just played that side. Is this a reality show? I don't know. I'm just happy that I'm hitting the ball back at all. So I'm not out to win, but it could get sticky. It could get fun. The show I'm really excited about is The Ultimate Girls Trip. This is the cast, okay? They are going in an RV. Now, I don't know how this is going to work, if they're really going to go across the country, or if they're going to have little stints in the RV in the afternoon and then stop at a hotel, and then their glam can meet them there, and they can have a normal night's sleep. Because I mean, if they're really like in a van, like a rock star, I don't know how you're going to get your makeup done. I don't know how you're going to deal with the menopause air conditioning in a RV. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's going to be fucking entertaining. It's Vicky Galvinson, Luann, Teresa, Kyle, Portia, and Giselle from Potomac, and Lisa Barlow. Oh my God, I live a very, very different life from all these people, but we're all in an RV. I love that there is one girl from each of the top franchises. I think this is genius. I can't believe they got them all to do it. I think it's going to be fun. I love the crossover and all of that. So hopefully this will be a success. We will never see the footage of Morocco. I have talked to numerous attorneys. No one wants to take on my class action lawsuit to get the footage. I think we need to accept it, and I think we need to be excited about other stuff. Speaking of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they had their first of 3 episode reunion. It's a lot of yelling, but it's so entertaining. We got into Cankle accusations. We got into, again, the businesses, husbands, you were awful to my husband, all of that. The only thing I thought that was sort of compelling is when Heather Gay, they did like a review of like the last 100 episodes and how funny and how successful the show is because the women are all entertaining. And Heather Gay goes, I am just so happy that I took this opportunity because at the time, physically, I wasn't like at my best. I knew I'd get criticized, which she was, for her looks and her weight from the cast members, from everybody that's watching it. And since then, she has gotten fit. She looks beautiful. She's written 2 books. She did a docuseries. She's, built her business, which was already there. She used it for, like, she was the lead. She's like the Lisa Vanderpump that has really taken it and taken every opportunity. And I got to give her that, and so good for her. Good for her. Okay. But this was fun. So Lisa Barlow said to Angie, yes, I have a very different life than any of you lead. Yes, I do. Because I'm doing events with Gwyneth Paltrow, she said Gwyneth, and Ben Affleck. That is right. You've been to my events, Heather Gay. You know that you've seen the stars. They all love my Vida Tequila. I don't know why you're talking. It's very upsetting to me. Oh, really? It's very upsetting because I know that, yes, I have not had a facelift. I love Threads. It lifts my face. I feel good about myself. Whatever. She's saying all that stuff. So then Ben Affleck and his best friend and life partner, what the hell is his name? Ben and, you look at Ben's best friend. I can't think of his name. Jen? No, not Jen's not his best friend. Jen's are his 2 ex-wives. Anyway, they're promoting some movie.
And what's his last name?
Affleck. Whoever Ben's best friend is, okay? They are doing some movie together. And
Damon?
Yes. So Ben and Matt Damon, life partners, they're sitting doing an interview. And this female interviewer says, I got to ask you, Ben, you may not know, but have you heard of Lisa Barlow from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? And he was so like taken aback. And he's like, I don't even know what to say because I don't remember her. I meet a lot of people, but I don't want to say something that would sound like I'm a snob who's like, someone's feeling is being hurt. But no, I don't remember meeting her. She does have a photo with him from many years ago. And then Angie wrote, Ben doesn't remember Lisa Barlow, but he does remember my cat, Cecil or something. And that was like a triple troll because she was referring to when Mary Cosby farted and blamed her cat. So it was just like, wow, that's a lot to follow. And I had to look it up. I had to do some research to go, what? What is this diss? I don't get it. Anyway, people fart with gout. People fart while they're making out with someone other than their wife. And people suck dicks that have gouts too. And then they also get divorced because Bronwyn is divorcing Todd, which I think will be announced in the next episode. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills it's pretty dull, though I'm entertained. Nothing major is happening. They're in Sedona, and that's supposed to be, Sutton's trip. And we've talked about Amanda. And she has these, there's nothing wrong with it. You can sell courses, you can sell books, you can talk to people about spending a weekend with you where you teach them how to go to Michael's and make a manifestation board. And look, some of those things might come true. So there's nothing wrong with doing it. Manifest Mama, who is my new persona, she is got things going on. And I have some very exciting things to announce because you've all asked for more of Manifesting Mama. And I am ready to meet with individuals about it, how to get it going. Anyway, she also is a one-upper. And she likes to tell everybody, oh, I'm ready to go on the hike with my Chanel backpack. And Sutton's like, I mean, I like Chanel when it's couture. I don't know if I like a backpack. Like that's so basic. And then she's just always like, oh, I've got so many backpacks. I have so many Louis Vuittons. And she just doesn't fit in. Like, I understand why they picked her because she is the only thing that we're talking about. And she is kind of poking the bear of their show by being fucking annoying because the rest of them actually all get along pretty well. So could she stay? Yeah. But we also know housewives have to at least make one really good friend in order for them to stay another season. And it definitely seems like she's out on her island. She's younger than everybody and she's not really clicking with anyone. So then she shows up and it's like, Sutton, I know about your old assistant. Is his name Ari Abadubi, Abalabadabi, Alve? His name's Alve. Yeah. Why did, what happened with you and your assistant, Avi? Is it Avi? Yes, it's Avi. We already went through this. You already practiced it twice before you came and said it to Kyle, and now you're saying it again. There is no scoop, Amanda. The guy who is busy being married with a wife and 3 kids, yes, Avi was. He liked the limelight. He liked being on the show, but it didn't work out between the two of them. And you don't owe someone a lifetime of employment because they popped on your TV show or your podcast once. It's really not that big of a deal. Can't last forever. There's a lot of other stars who are no longer with their original assistants from 10 years ago. It's not that juicy. Like, let it go. But clearly, she's smart enough to know I can't discuss this. I'm not going to disparage him. I'm not going to keep him from getting hired because she's like, he says I should hire him. And she's like, you should. You should. He's great. Go hire him. She's like, well, I already have a whole team. I have a whole team that I met with. And then they show her in the morning, like opening up her screen. And she's like, okay, you could write the email about keeping a great vibe this morning. And I'm like, yeah, that's what she sells. She sells, you sign up and you get an email every day, like keep the manifest vibe going. Imagine money coming from the sky and you picking it up. And like, that's the way you're going to do it. And if you don't manifest hard enough, guess what? You're going to stay poor as F. AF. Okay. Anyway, so that was about all that happened. Also, I want to say, with people going through divorce. So Dorit is going through a divorce and, she's saying that PK is being awful and PK tries to defend himself a little bit on social media. And and the thing is, Kyle has a great relationship with Mauricio. They have a great post-breakup relationship, probably because she doesn't care that he's with other women and he doesn't care that she's doing her thing. And their daughters work for him. And it all makes sense that they just have a really great post-breakup relationship. So he's like, well, that's not true. PK's a great father. Okay, but I really think everybody needs to take note from this. You don't know what goes on in someone's marriage. And Erica Jane is the voice of reason. And she's like, I would just tell Kyle, I would just tell Mauricio, I don't want to hear any more about it. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to get in the middle of it. And it's true. You don't know. You need to support your girlfriend first before the guy. You also don't have to bag on the guy, but you can just be like, wow, that's really unfortunate. I hope you guys can work it out. And like, that's what you need to do. Also, speaking of which, there's a study that it found that women that vent to each other, that will help lower their cortisol levels. All I see stuff is about, what's your cortisol level? What's your cortisol level? When a man walks in the house, the cortisol level goes up. When a man leaves, it goes down. Yeah, so also let Dorit bitch to you, Kyle, about how annoying PK was at one time. And then just be like, I'm just going to be here to hear it on camera or off, but I'm not going to talk about it after, which is probably very hard when your job is to be on camera talking about juicy shit. So there you go. Here's a photo of Whitney. She got a new short haircut. However, it's blonde. And this was a viral tweet from a girl called Skinny Girl. And she wrote, a lesbian who would cross the Pacific to be with her girlfriend of 2 weeks. I think it's very funny. I hope Whitney enjoys the joke. She has said she's made out with women. So has Bronwyn. I have put it out there. Now, people said, Heather, you're wrong. There have been lesbians on Real Housewives. Look at Martina and Julia of Miami. What I am manifesting, okay, as Manifest Mama, is that 2 cast members from the same franchise came on as supposed straight married women, okay? And then they fall in love, and actually more than a one-night crazy night of wearing lingerie and having to film in front of gay producers. No, I'm talking they hook up, do everything lesbians are supposed to do, but actually become a couple for at least a few months. That is what I'm putting out for 2026. That's what's on my bingo card. Though we're going to kill the bingo card. Oh, we're also other things we want to kill for 2026 besides the bingo card, and it's giving main character energy, core memories, with purpose. Oh, there's a couple more. Those all need to go. Meanwhile, Candy, brilliant Candy from Atlanta, she is staying friends with her estranged husband, Todd Tucker. Very smart. She's the one who makes the money. The kids are little. He is an active dad. Why wouldn't she stay friends with him? She knows how to do it. She is by far the most successful, the richest, and the most brilliant housewife we have. And in her post-divorce life, she seems to be proving it to be true. All right, you guys, remember to join my Patreon, which is always the juiciest stuff and pre-releases of juicy crimes, as well as Get Me Behind Gates. It is all at heathermcdonald.net. You join that for just a few dollars a month to change your life. All the back episodes. I'm talking, we're almost at 10 years. All the things that you've heard about that I talk about there are all archived there. They're all commercial free. So you want to go there. Then right now, I'm excited to introduce you to Ro-Mina. You have seen her on the hit Netflix show, Members Only Palm Beach. She answers all the questions between the drama between Hillary and Rosalind and so much more. So here we go with Ro-Mina. Enjoy. Guys, what makes you feel the most confident sometimes is having your hair look healthy, shiny, and maybe what it was before life took the best of you. Stress can cause hair to shed, thin, age, menopause. It can all affect what your hair was. And you want to get back to the fluff and the bounce and how you know it should be. That's why I've been taking Nutrafol for a couple years now. And I've been just thrilled with the results and the consistency and the health that my hair has been able to maintain as I get older. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested to measure improvements in growth, quality, and strength. So see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our Juicy Scoopers $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code JuicyScoop. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Juicy Scoop. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Juicy Scoop. This episode of Juicy Scoop is sponsored by Thrive Market. Guys, I know it's hard to stay on a healthy track for yourself, especially when you're also cooking for a whole family and you also want them to eat better, better quality of food, better healthy food for their whole life. But let's be honest, we also need it to be easy and convenient. So let's just say your kid wants mac and cheese and you're like, okay, well, Thrive Market makes that so much easier with thousands of healthier swaps of the things your kids love, like Goodies mac and cheese, Cali Puffs, Olipop, or other low sugar swaps and fruit snacks with simple ingredients. If you're, trying to fill your pantry, you're running around, what I love is that it shouldn't have to be like that because Thrive Market does the vetting for you with 1,000 plus restricted ingredients, vetted brands, trusted staples. So you don't have to be reading everything in the grocery market. Thrive is going to give you what is right for you and healthier for you. I love it. We just got a whole bunch of food from it. The app makes it super easy. We got great, delicious new snacks that we are loving, and we're feeling great knowing that we are eating better ingredients for our bodies. Join Thrive Market with my link, thrivemarket.com/juicyscoop for 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I know you guys are obsessed with Members Only Palm Beach, and I have yet another star from the show. We spoke to Hillary earlier, and now we have Ro-Mina. Ro-Mina, welcome to Juicy Scoop.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, the show is so great, and I definitely think that you really resonated with the audience in a lot of ways. You're the younger girl in the group. You kind of come from interesting, let's talk a little bit about your ethnic background and your parents, and walk me through that, because there was some funny moments where Gail, who's a character, wasn't really understanding, and that's kind of the craziness of the show, is that they kind of really feature these kind of women that are definitely not always self-aware or aware of anyone else's situation. And so why don't you kind of explain a little bit about your background?
Okay, so I was born in Uzbekistan, not Pakistan, and it was part of the USSR, so I speak Russian, and that's kind of like our culture. We're Russian, but I'm also Jewish, and it's Bukharian Jewish, which is basically Persian Jews that migrated to Uzbekistan, I don't even know how many years ago, thousands, I think, and there was a city in Uzbekistan called Bukhara, and that's where the name Bukharian Jews came from. We are Sephardic Jews. So we're like the blacks of the Jews. We're the dark ones with the dark hair and the big eyebrows, and because we have Persian roots. So, my cultural background is important to me because I feel like it is who I am. And I always tell people I'm a rare breed because there aren't many Bukharians in the world. I think there's 160,000 in the entire world, which is very small amount compared to, the actual population. So, I think a lot of people just don't know much about that country because it's, first of all, it was part of the USSR, so it didn't really have its own name for until 1991 when the USSR broke up, and nobody talks about those countries, all the little stands.
Yeah, I really wasn't aware of it. I'd heard of Russian Jews, and we had Russian Jews and Persian Jews in the LA area when I was growing up. So I was aware of that. But how old were you when you came over to America?
I was 5. That's why when Gail goes, "Oh, you speak such good English," I'm like, "Yeah, I grew up here." Obviously, I speak good English. It's more actually admirable that I speak such good Russian because a lot of people that come, at that age, they lose their language. But my parents, really, really tried hard to keep that as a part of who we are, me and my brothers. And I tried with my kids, and fortunately, they don't speak Russian, but I'm trying still.
My husband's side of his family is his dad's Czechoslovakian, and when they came over, it was interesting because the ones whose parents came over from there really wanted their kids to learn it and speak it. But one thing that my husband said that I thought was interesting, he's like, sometimes they don't want to learn it because they don't want to seem different than the kids in school. Like
Yeah.
they want to assimilate so much to America, and and then the parents want them to learn both, but that's just sort of an interesting American immigrant kind of a story.
A
So did
lot
you
of kids
guys?
are like that. A lot of
Yeah.
kids are like that. But I liked being different. So that didn't really bother me. I don't know.
No, I think that's so cool. And did you guys settle in the Florida area, or did you come from a different area?
Yeah, we settled in Philadelphia. So at first we were in Northeast Philadelphia, and then when my parents made a little bit more money and were able to afford, a nicer home, we moved to Bucks County, which is like the nicer, more suburban area. And that was when I was 11 years old, and that's where I went to middle school and high school, and basically like lived the rest up until we moved to Florida, which was like 3.5 years ago. So I was in the suburbs of Philly for many years.
So, when you were so explain a little bit like what was your relationship with reality TV? Were you a fan of watching it? Did you think that was something that you would thrive in? So when the opportunity came, you kind of jumped on it?
Yes. Yes. The first time I watched the Kardashians, I was like, this is for me. Like, this can be my life. And also, like, Jersey Shore. Like, I was actually a fan of Jersey Shore. I never watched The Housewives. I'm going to be honest. That wasn't something I was into. Like, I tried, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. But I loved Kardashians. I watched, like, The Real World. And I always, like, really believed that it's something that I would be good at. And me and my cousins always said we need like a keeping up with the Yustaevs because our lives are so crazy. Like, just it's always this like tornado happening to us. And I'm like, where are the cameras? So when I finally had cameras, it was, just the best feeling. And that's, how I actually met Rosalind. And I had told her before many years ago that I wanted to do a reality TV. So when they were casting, they asked if she knows anyone, and she referred me, and it was just the perfect fit because I was new, and it was like that interesting story of how do these people react to new people.
Yeah, I thought that was, I thought it was fun that they took your real lives, but they kind of made a storyline sort of, if you watch Palm Royale about, that was kind of your journey of like, can I fit in? And with it, it was funny. Like there was funny stuff about it with the outfits and all of that and the shopping. And how did you feel about being told that you were vocally loud in
Oh,
like conversation?
that's something I've been told my entire life. So it was nothing new to me. I'm like, this is literally what, like my friends, my family, anyone that knows me. And if there was ever like a word to describe myself, I always use the word loud. Like it's just who I am. So it wasn't anything new. And it was funny that that's what was like playing into this show. And it's like people are gonna think this is all, scripted, but it wasn't. Like, I mean, for me, I was like the real version of myself. I have people reaching out to me from like 15 years ago that I haven't talked to, and they're like, it's so nice to see like you being 100% authentically you. Like, that's just who I am. So it was nothing new.
But there was the one moment where you kind of really break down and you guys go to Rosalind's house with the etiquette girl. And I mean, come on, you must have known how to like which fork to use.
Oh, well, like I said, I know my
Yeah.
etiquette from the
Yeah.
Titanic. It's like start from the outside and work your way in. I never had like a class, and my family, like, the barbarian style, like that is how we are. We don't eat with our hands. We use a fork and we use a knife, but we never had, like a full plate, the whole enchilada, which is like 4 forks, 3 knives. Like, I don't even know how many it is,
Yeah.
but of course just
Yeah, it's
like I
like
said.
the scene in Pretty Woman, like of where is everything, and then she's like, "Where's the salad?" And so, but you get kind of upset at that moment because it just feels like, why was that so upsetting to you when you get up from that table with Gail and Rosalind and the etiquette girl?
it was really frustrating because Gail was trying to point out that I have bad etiquette, and they even thought that I needed a class, or maybe I was the one that brought it up, but they wanted me to have a class, to learn good etiquette, and yet here is a person who obviously has bad etiquette because I told her the name of my country more than once. If you watched, you would know I also told her at the store when we were shopping. And I'm sure there was parts where, that were deleted scenes because this was like an ongoing thing. And it got to the point where I was just like, come on. Like at this point, you're literally just like, I don't know, like it's just a joke. Like, are you serious? I just got really frustrated. And the other thing that really upset me is they, got so upset about the whole cash, like asking for cash thing. And it's
So
like,
just to fill people in case they didn't watch it. So you're having a birthday, your birthday's coming up, and your 39th birthday, and you sent out an invite and you said, no need for gifts, but if you do plan on bringing a gift, cash is preferred. And
yeah.
they thought that was very tacky to put that on an invite. So that was
Yeah. And like, you have to understand, I'm being filmed. So the whole world is going to see this and they're trying to put me in a negative light. And I'm like, no, no, no. This was not anything other than me telling my friends who are asking, like a lot of my friends were asking my cousins, what should we bring her? What should we bring her? And they're like, just bring cash. But in Philly, all my friends were Russian. So we just know this. It was never like something I had to add to an invitation. I didn't even give out invitations. We just call each other like, hey, I'm having a party, But here it was like more formal. And I'm like, you know what? Because I was filming. I didn't have time. You're so busy when you're filming. I'm like, I'm just going to send out a mass message to all my friends to be like, hey, like, whatever, like, don't be like, I don't need anything, but if you want to bring something, make it cash, because I didn't need plants and bottles and whatever they bring, candles.
Right.
I don't need all that stuff right now. I'm busy enough as it is. And I really, really only sent that to my guests, and my guests know me. So it wasn't like, but they tried to make it seem like I'm money hungry or I'm like trying to have people pay for my party. Like, that's not what it was. It was me talking to my friends like, hey guys, you really don't have to bring anything, but if you do want to bring me a gift, because obviously my friends want to bring something, just like make it simple, make it cash.
Yeah. And which is kind of nice, especially like with wedding gifts too. Now, like when a lot of younger brides, they don't register the way like we used to. And I love it when they're like, cash is great. I'm like, great, we'll just write a check. I don't need to go on a website. I don't need to do a whole big thing.
Yeah.
So did you make out good in the end in that little box? Was there a lot in there?
No, actually. I literally at the end of the night, my husband thought we like lost half of the envelopes because he's like, wait, this is it?
So let's talk a little bit about your family life. What is this? Explain the business that you had that you were lucky enough to sell for. I've heard different things that you've sold it for 42 million. Like, explain your business background.
So my brother had opened an adult daycare center taking care of seniors with Alzheimer's and dementia. And he really saw the need for home care, which is where you send aides to take care of seniors at home. We provide non-medical services like light housekeeping, meal preparation, medication reminders, bathing, like things like that. So he saw the need for this business and he opened it. And that's when I had just finished college. And my dad was like, here's some money. You can either put a down payment down on a house or into a business. And my brother's like, you know what? Why don't you give me the money? He needed money at the time. And he's like, and you can join me as a partner and you can do the marketing. So I started doing the marketing and I put myself out there and we hustled like crazy. And I had to put myself into some crazy situations because, you work with very low income families, and I had to go into really dangerous neighborhoods to try to get clients, but I put myself out there. And I was also a young, cute girl in a man's field. Like, it was mostly men in that business at the time. And it was, these men with like I don't want to be rude, but like cheap suits. And they're like, they would come in and try to get clients and, with these agencies that were the ones that send us clients. And then there was me. It was like, hello, I'm here, and I would give them free stuff like umbrellas and pens and just like different merch from our company. It was called Sarah Care at the time. And they, I think they really resonated with me because they saw that I was real and they really liked that. And so they started sending us clients and we grew very quickly. And then, we were offered a sale price and we decided to sell. And I just think that it was my dad's just upbringing for us that really taught us how to like work hard. Me and my brother really put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of heart into the business.
And how long ago was that you then were done with that side of your life?
So we sold in 2017, I think, and that's when I had met Roman and my husband, and he was in real estate. And so when we sold, me and my husband invested a lot into my husband's real estate business. And he was already like in it, but we helped him boost it up by investing, because where else are you going to really invest money other than real estate? And then I started to do staging and interior design because he would hire stagers. And I was like, what is this? Like, I can do such a better job. And so I opened a staging business and then I started designing all of his properties. And that's how I got into like the interior design side of things. I'm just really like, I really just love being creative. It's like what I'm passionate about. And that's what we do. And now he's building like big apartment buildings. And he also does the leasing. Like he has his own property management company and he's literally a one-man show. He's amazing. He's a great.
So what did he think about it when they offered you to be on the show?
Well, it's funny because when we first met and throughout our entire 9-year marriage, I always told him, I'm going to be on a show one day. Like, I just knew it. I'm like a psychic sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I just felt it in my heart that this is what I'm meant for and this is what's going to happen. So when the process started happening, I actually was already talking to another casting director, like right before this show happened.
You mean there was another Palm Beach centric show?
It was in Palm Beach. I was trying to sell my family, like Keeping Up with the Anxieties.
Oh, you're trying to do your own show. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I wanted to do my own show, Keeping Up with the Anxieties or something of that sort. And and then like it was crazy because that year, like I was manifesting stuff, and it was the first year I like wrote down stuff, and I wrote like I'm gonna have a reality TV show. And it happened. So my husband was very excited. Yeah, he was very excited for me. Obviously, he was worried about, all the stress that comes along with it. Because if you saw on the show, I like broke out in hives one day.
Yes, yeah.
It was really painful. And I think that's just me. Like, I'm a more of a person who like holds stuff in. I don't really let stuff out. And it came out through the rash, and I don't think I realized how bad I was stressing, but there was a lot going on, there was a lot of pressure and people were telling me what to do and how to act and all of that. So it was a lot.
And so, right now it appears you're like, seem to be, when the show ends, you're good with all your castmates, it seems like, but since the show has ended, there's been some drama between Rosalind and Hillary. Hillary came on my show, and in a nutshell, she basically said, well, Rosalind accused me of excluding her from things, and there's more to the story that I won't say, but I also didn't like that she seemed to talk about me being married 5 times, and she presented herself as being married only once. Well, in fact, she was married once before the current husband. I didn't really think it was very juicy. I didn't think it was a big deal, but Rosalind took offense to her sharing that story. And then Rosalind went on another show and shared how that came about, which, is a sad childhood story of how she was kind of sent off to Israel and married at 17 and had 2 kids. And thank God left that guy she wasn't in love with. And then came here with their two small children, and then met her current husband at 21. And then they went on to have 3 more kids together, and her 2 kids only know him. So it's a classic, not a classic, but it's a great story if it can work out that way for you. And of course, I'm a stepmother, and my daughter calls me mom, and like I totally respect the step parent and how you treat your family as we're all the same. But I kind of was like, oh God, I felt badly, but where are you? Because you're friends with both of them in this situation.
It's definitely a lot. And I feel like I'm in the middle because I actually hung out with Hillary last night, but I didn't know that all of this went down until after I got home. And Hillary told me that she had this podcast with you and came out with this stuff. I didn't know it was true until I watched Rosalind's podcast. So Rosalind did mention to me during the time when we were filming that she was abused as a child and that she went through a lot, but she's not here crying like some other people. Like she's, she still stays strong, and she, everybody has a story. Everybody has been through things. But I had no idea about the fact that she was married before, but I understand why. Like she wanted that to stay as it's her personal, business, and not everybody needs to know everything. But I think that Rosalind is really finding her voice. And one thing that I, told Rosalind a lot is like, people love the real version of you. Like people are going to love you if you're going to be honest. And like being honest, I think, is one of the most important things. And I think she's starting to realize that. And I told her, like, I'm going to be here for her no matter what. I also really respect Hillary. I think she's a boss bitch. And I think that, I love her like designs. Like she's really, really good at interior design.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. And I really love her style in that sense. So it's a little bit hard for me because there is this like war between them. And I feel like if I don't fix it, I don't know who else will. And honestly, I was the one that kind of mended their relationship. It was off camera after that whole Hillary not inviting Rosalind to the event that we had, that she had at her house. I was the one that was like, you shouldn't listen to other people's opinions, because Hillary didn't know Rosalind very well at the time. She just took, what she heard about her. And I said, you can't just take what you hear about people and agree with that when you don't even give someone a chance. And that's why Hillary actually gave Rosalind a chance. And now I feel like I'm like back at ground zero. But hopefully season 2. We can
with season 2 we'll kind of figure this all out. But listen, you want people to watch the show. The producers want the people to watch the show and have a strong reaction to it. And in someone that has covered reality TV for, more than 15 years, going almost 20 years, when people go, oh my God, it's MAGA Barbies and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but did you watch the whole thing through? Yes. And are they really? No. Do they live there? But oh my God, they said, these words this many times. And I'm like, yeah, it's also edited to almost like rage bait. And Rosalind as a look, her blonde hair, her boobs, and her voice, her little, very distinct voice. It is, of course, that's what they want. Look at the girl who's going to Mar-a-Lago. This is what she looks like. But now that we're getting to hear even a little bit more about her post the taping of the show, I'm like, I'd love to see more of that. That's super interesting. I think sometimes when people go on reality TV, they have to know that everything will come out, whether they say it themselves, a cast member, or, some content creator that's very intrigued and is very good on the computer. So it's not even but the thing is, I understand why she wanted to keep it private, but of course to all of us, we're like, well, that's not a story you needed to keep private. That's really super admirable, and there's a beautiful love story around it, and you had a tragic childhood, but unfortunately, probably 1/3 of all America has had some type of weird trauma. Everyone has a story to tell. So I hope that, it doesn't, it doesn't get to a place where it seemed like it was vicious, because honestly, as she told me, Hillary, it didn't feel vicious. It felt like she was a little bit like, look, because I'd asked Hillary about all 5 of her husbands, and we went through each one.
The Fab Five, she calls them.
And so and to me that was very interesting. And she's like, I did say this on the show, but look, there's only so many hours of the show,
Yeah.
So, but I didn't even catch that during the show that Rosalind was at all negative towards the fact that she'd been married multiple times. Like, as a viewer, I missed it, So it's like, I was like, wait, why are they mad at each other? Like, as you're watching it, it's so much, but of course they're living it.
I don't think Hillary should be mad about that. We all talked about it. We all joked about it. Taja did too, and so did I. When I introduced him to my husband, I'm like, this is Hillary's 5th husband. This is my 2nd husband. Like, we all touched upon it. It is, it is something that's kind of funny, but nobody judges her for that.
Right. I mean, it makes it for reality TV, but I always think, like, I actually had a joke in my stand-up act, like, years ago, like, I don't know why anyone would make it negative, like when someone's like, my mom's been married 4 times. I'm like, that means that, that many men felt that in love with your mom that they were like, you're it. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe I even got one person to ask me to marry. Like, that's why I'm sticking with it. But I'm saying, like, it says something, you know what I mean? It's
For
like,
sure.
wow, I don't know that, like, if I was to break up, that I would find another person that wants to marry me. So it's
exactly.
like, I don't think
it means
that
you fell in love
appalled.
5 times. You have 5 soulmates. Yeah. Like,
and and Hillary was so honest. Like, she's like, 2 of them appear to have been cheaters, and she got rid of them, and then the other one was boring, and the one before that just was too young, and now that she's got the perfect dude, and she doesn't make up. What was interesting is, like, Jill Zarin's like, I love Luke for her, and because they're like, yeah, Luke was the doorman at the fancy hotel. We're not now saying, oh, he's a real estate developer too. Like,
he's
the honesty is where it's at. Oh,
he's
sure,
helping her so much, and that's great. Like, why not?
But I'm saying, like, the origin, they're honest about the origin, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that she told the story about him being a doorman, because I didn't know whether I knew about it from other people, but I didn't know whether she would talk about it. And I'm glad she did, because that shows that she's, an honest person. And I called Rosalind today and I told her I'm so proud of her for going on to the podcast and talking about her truth, because I feel like that will make so many more people, like, resonate with her and appreciate her and understand her when otherwise maybe they didn't, So
I mean, honestly, she should probably have some kind of, like, thankfulness that this whole thing came about, because it's probably a big relief now just to get it out. Like, for whatever reason, if she didn't want to share it, or she thought she's going to get away with not sharing it, like, now it's out there. Now it's, not a big deal.
She said on the podcast, I feel like I have a weight lifted off of me.
Yeah.
So, but I understand, why she would say that all 5 kids are Jonathan's. My husband was when I met Roman, or when we started dating, my son was 7 years old. And even though he was older, he wasn't even 2, he was 7. He's my son considers him a father. Because he was present and he's there and he's with him every single day. So when I say, I'm married, I say we have 3 kids. It's like, it's just how
I know.
it is.
It's so hard. Like, with my situation, my daughter, who's my stepdaughter, technically was our first child together. And when I say I've got 3 kids, or my daughter, then there's people that then will go, that's disrespectful to the biological mother that I said my daughter, and then if you say if I say my stepdaughter, they're like, that's so mean. You could tell she doesn't, really care about her, or whatever. And of course my kids are fine, and they're, adults and everything. And I have no insecurity about my relationship with my daughter that I raised. And so I totally get the sensitivity around the language used, and why it's like you can't win.
You can't win. No matter what you do, people are going to judge you, and people are going to have opinions about you. So I really believe in just, like, not paying attention to the people and just like living your life the way you want, saying things the way you want, and just being truthful, in your own
Yeah.
life and true to who you are. If for Rosalind the truth is that Jonathan is the father of all of her 5 children, then she has that right. I mean, he has been raising them since they were babies.
Of
So
course.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I do think that Hillary did that in a malicious manner, and I think that's a little bit messed up. I haven't told her about this yet, but I would like to talk to her and be like, that's not cool. Like, we are all in the same group. We are all friends, and it's not cool to like have these big feuds.
Yeah. And how did you know Mary, the DJ, before?
Maria.
Sorry, Maria. Did you know
I
Maria before?
I actually invited her to be a DJ at one of my birthday parties, because I wanted a female DJ, and I had a fashion show that year. I've been doing a fashion show every year. They just cut that out of my birthday scene, but I had a beautiful fashion show with my collection, from Romy Runway, which this is one of my designs, but I have like a lot of different stuff, and so Maria was the DJ for me. So, and that's how we became friends, because she's also such a dreamer, and she wants to reach all these goals, and she wants to DJ, at big festivals, and I obviously want to perform and sing at these big festivals. So we just have like a lot in common in that sense, and that we're both like super unfiltered and just like speak our truth. She's a little bit worse than me, but she also has like a few years on me. So
And so, how did the singing come about, and how do you come up with your songs and your music and everything? Because we see you sing at your birthday party, and
yeah.
let's hear about that.
Okay, so I've wanted to be a singer since I was like a little girl. I was named after an Italian singer, and my parents would always watch concerts, and I would see like, these beautiful women dressed in beautiful outfits, and I joined the choir like when I was a kid. I didn't speak English, but I came to school and music was one of the lessons, and I had to learn a song. And my teacher was like, "Wow, you have such a good voice." And it started from there. I recorded and released the song actually when I was 15, and it was played in like these big clubs. It was wild. But then I got distracted with boys and life and this and that. And then I got married, and then I got divorced. And when I got divorced, I met my producer, and some portal opened, and I was able to write songs. And my first song that I wrote was on Billboard Club Dance charts, and it made it into number 13, and it was top 25 for over 5 weeks. And Queen of the Night, which is the song that I sang, one of the songs that I sang on the show, that was the second song I ever wrote. And now I have like over 30 songs. Some of them are Russian too. I worked with a big label in Russia, and I don't know. It's just what I love to do. I like to be center of attention. It's not something that I hide, and I love to be on stage.
So now that you're in this world, and even though your show is called Members Only and not The Real Housewives of Palm Beach, obviously it's a lot of comparisons to The Real Housewives. It's kind of filmed the same way and with confessionals and focusing on women and their lives and their families. Have you investigated the housewives at all to kind of see what their past, because like Luann sings and Erica Jane has original songs from Beverly Hills. Luann is New York. Erica Jane had a whole like pop thing going even before, with original songs and performing. Melissa Gorga, who you kind of remind me of. Have you heard anyone say that?
Oh, I have had like at least 5 comments that I read, that I saw, that people saying that. My friend Coco is good friends with her, so we met them right after we
Oh, Coco was
filmed.
on the show. The
She
Coco is
is.
the socialite, the blonde girl. Yeah,
Yes, the
she would
Con
be a
Air,
good.
Con
She'd
Air
be a.
family.
Yeah, she'd be. Would she want to join the cast?
It's a possibility. She hasn't made a decision, but they talk about it.
Yeah.
But she's friends with Melissa, and we met her. Like, I think it was actually during filming, and her and my husband is the one that watched Housewives with his mom. I never watched, so he knows about like the singers and all that stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
much about it, but he loved Melissa and Joe Gorga, and always was like, oh, like if we ever have a show, I want to be like them, because they obviously are I think the only ones that stayed together. And he just always like, kind of liked their relationship. So to meet them was really cool. And they were so nice. And Joe was giving, advice to Roman. I think it's cool that people are, comparing us. I don't know that we look alike, but she's gorgeous. So I don't mind.
You kind of look alike, but you also kind of talk alike, maybe because you're from the East Coast or something.
Maybe.
But no, they are lovely. Like, I know them well and have for years, and they really are like really nice people and fun people. So what's been a negative thing about having the show come out and suddenly maybe people knowing who you are online or in person?
So I actually am not getting too many negative things. And if I am, I just don't see them or don't care to see them. But there is one thing that I guess people are commenting on that I've seen, which is like my COVID comment about like COVID is a blessing or was a blessing. I just want to like clarify that. I meant like there were positives to COVID because people got to stay home and spend time with their family unlike any other time. Like there's, nobody has ever, in the amount of time that we know, had time to just put life on pause and like be with your family, So I think that was really special. And me and my two cousins, the ones that I would have liked to do a show with, they lived in the same neighborhood as me. So we spent time together like all the time. Our kids are best friends. So we're like sisters. And I got to spend so much time with them and it was just so nice. And then we all ended up moving to the same neighborhood in Florida. So we ended up buying at the same time. My one cousin was like, we have to go to Florida. It's just a better life. And we ended up buying during COVID in 2020. And our houses have doubled in price since. So there have been blessings. Obviously, I know that it was a really sad time and a lot of people died and a lot of, a lot of people went through a lot of hard things, but I'm just the kind of person that tries to see the bright side of everything. And it was also kind of like, look how short life can be. Let's live our best life while we can, because like this, you can get a cold and die, So when I said it was a blessing, I meant there were good things.
Yeah, and you're not the first person that has said that, and I feel like sometimes people, the online warriors, are just looking for someone to slip up and be like, gotcha,
exactly.
Look at that, and so that's interesting. Yeah, so good. That's the thing. The other thing is, you're supposed to be. It's not supposed to be scripted. You are living your life. You are having luncheons and conversations. And so it's like, and then it's edited. So there's going to be things that, can be put together where you're like, well, if it was up to me, I would have cut out that part, but it's not. You don't have a say in what gets kept or whatever. And, but I understood where it was coming, because there's a lot of people that were like, I liked that time, of my life for these positive reasons. These are the things I didn't like,
Yeah, it brought me to Florida, it brought me to Florida. And that to me was a huge blessing because I love it here. I love the warm weather. I hated winter. I was always like in pain in the winter, like my bones hurt. And now I'm just like, this is December. This is January. It's 82 degrees. I love it.
Good. I'm glad that you're so happy. Well, tell everybody where they can start following you, so they can keep up with. So is your fashion just an online store, or what is that?
Yes. So my fashion line is Romy Runway. It's romyrunway.com. And it's an online store for now. Hopefully one day I'll, open an actual store. But for now, it's just online. And it's mostly women's clothing. And it's stuff that you can wear going out. It's more Miami than Palm Beach. But I'm working on a Palm Beach line, so we'll see.
You should, with the bright colors and all that stuff. I love that look.
More colors.
Like that, and more like little 60s inspired. You could do like the A-line. I love like an A-line dress, like
Everyone
a 1960s. So you could still show the knees without showing the boobs. Just kidding.
Well, I'm putting the Ro-Mina flair onto
right,
Palm
of
Beach.
course.
So
wait, before I go, one more question I have. Were you there when Gail slipped off the lounge chair and the wig fell?
Oh my God, that was after when I got the rash. I got the rash after that because remember, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I worked with old people and I know that like they fall and God forbid can break a hip. So my like right away my heart like dropped to the floor. I'm like, oh my God, this poor old woman is gonna break her hip. So I freaked out and then like yeah, I told her that she needed a better wig. I that they cut that part out, but I actually told her that night. I was like, Gail, you really need a better wig, and that's why that whole thing became such a big deal because I said it to her, maybe not at the best moment, but I'm just honest. Like, if you're gonna be my friend, you're gonna hear
She was very
honest
grateful.
opinion.
She was nice the next day. She's like, it really meant a lot to me that you guys were all helpful. But I think once you see it on TV, yeah, it's embarrassing to fall and it's embarrassing to have a wig come off your head. You know, which was so funny is like the weekend that your show premiered, I was out there and I went to Rachel Yucatel's wedding and I sat like on my friend's chair, but like I didn't put enough of my ass on the chair with her and I fell. I didn't hit my head or anything and I wasn't wearing a wig. But then afterwards, like I was like, oh my God, I pulled a Gail. Like I totally like I need to own it. Like the universe is just like, you need to cover this show, you need to watch this show, you need to talk about the show because you are. But I thoroughly enjoyed all the Gail stuff. I thought it was like really funny and interesting, and it was a little repetitive as far as like I'm passing the baton and this and that. But like her stories, you know, were entertaining. Like that's the whole thing. I think they wanted to see that. So I thought it was a good mix.
Yeah,
And I
I
hope you
think if
guys
Gail
haven't.
wasn't on, I think if she wasn't on the show, it wouldn't have been the same show. You know, like I feel like she made this. We all collectively made the show the way that it
Yeah.
is, but we needed her. I think, and I think she
Yeah.
did. I think she did great.
Yeah. And then Taj is very interesting and her parents are like a hoot. Like everyone has like their fun stuff. Are you good with Taj or no? You kind of gave a look.
I don't know. I'm skeptical about her sometimes. So
Now, what's the deal? She has a partner or a husband or she doesn't? She's single or what?
I actually have no idea. They say that that she's with David Cohn, but then she also says that she's kind of like a single mother. So I don't know the deep down and dirty about her. So
Okay.
no comment.
No comment. We'll have to watch next season.
You'll have to watch.
Um, so everybody, it's on Netflix. It's members only Palm Beach, and I told Hillary this too. I'm like, I really think it's could be really fun if they do other cities, just like Housewives, like members only LA, members only Scottsdale, members only whatever. Like it could be a whole big thing, and then you'd be like, I'm the OG.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I don't know because they never told us, but that's what my thought process was of what they, from a business standpoint, were thinking to
Right,
do. That's why they put Palm Beach into the name so that it
right.
could be other cities, but I don't know if it's that or not. But we'll see, I guess. Depends on
Yeah.
how successful the show gets.
Yeah, people are definitely talking, which is what is all you really want is people talking. So anyway, it was so great to find you. Your Instagram again is
It's ro.mina.official.
love it. Thank you so much, Ro-Mina. It was really nice talking to you and getting all the
Thank you
scoop.
so much. And also, if you want to hear any of my music, you have to just search Ro-Mina. So the dash is in my name, and it's anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever there's music, you can hear it.
Awesome. I love it. Keep doing all the things you're doing. Very
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Thank you.